Hi Dollar Divas, welcome to Behind the Vanity. I'm Jessica. So today is Makeup and Celebrity Sunday, and I recently asked all of you who or what you would like me to talk about, anything pop culture, celebrity, television, movie oriented, and I had a couple requests for Cher. So of course Cher is, I guess she's coined as the goddess of pop, and I've just had so much fun kind of figure out who these titles belong to. I've done Dolly Parton and Aretha Franklin and Tina Turner, and they kind of all have like a term, so that's been fun for me. But anyways, so we're gonna get this Dollar Tree makeup look with products that I've recently hauled, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit of what I've learned about the goddess of pop, Cher, known by one name. So if you do enjoy these types of videos, I'll have my entire Makeup and Celebrity Sunday playlist linked down below, as well as my Dollar Tree playlist. It has all my any Dollar Tree oriented video I've ever made. Makeup videos, hauls, duping videos, all that good stuff. So I will have those down below so you can binge watch those videos. Also, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, and I do hope you will subscribe and become one of my Dollar Divas. And of course, if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back to another Makeup and Celebrity Sunday video. So yes, before I babble on any more, let's go ahead and get into today's video and let's talk about Cher, and I'll show you how I got this makeup look using Dollar Tree products. So I already did my eyebrows, and I used the Broadway Colors eyebrow kit, and I did end up using the lighter shade. So to clean up my eyebrows, I am going to use the Milani Retouch and Erase Concealer. This is in medium light. It might not be quite light enough for my taste, but it was the only one I could find at the Dollar Tree. So I was very excited to find some Milani at the Dollar Tree because I don't think I'd ever seen Milani at the Dollar Tree before. So we're gonna just give it a try as our concealer and to clean up my eyebrows. So it does have a sponge tip applicator, but I never really use that. I think this might actually work. So Cher was born Sherry Lynn Sarkeesian, but she did actually legally change her name to Cher. And her mom was actually like an actress, model, and a singer-songwriter as well. And her dad was a truck driver. His name was John Sarkeesian. So her mom was formerly known as Jackie Jean Crouch, but she changed her name to Georgia Holt. This is actually not doing a terrible job. It's a little darker than I would like it to be, but the coverage is really nice, which that is important too when you're kind of cleaning up your eyebrows if you do this step. So Cher was born in El Centro, California on May 20th, 1946. So Cher is actually half, I didn't know this till fairly recent, that Cher is actually half Armenian on her dad's side. Her dad was Armenian. Then her mom was like Dutch and English and Irish and all that kind of stuff. So she definitely kind of favors her dad a little bit more in that way. And I heard this, and I don't know how true it is, but I did hear that her mom sometimes held a little bit of resentment against her because she looked so much like her father. And he left when Cher was really young. But her mom later remarried, and his name was Gilbert LaPierre, and so Cher has a half-sister named Georgianne LaPierre that is her mom's child with her new husband. So for eyeshadow, I'm really excited, and we're gonna use this LA Colors eyeshadow palette. This is in Caramel Chocolate. It's a very neutral palette, kind of reminiscent of Natasha Denona Glam. So I'm very excited to use this today. I've heard great things. These are tiny little palettes, but I've heard the quality is really very good. So we're gonna kind of do like a glam look today. I'm gonna go all over with this lightest shade. So apparently when Cher's mom, Georgia, was pregnant with Cher, she kind of had two choices because she was very poor, just didn't have any money, was struggling. I don't know if their dad was still in the picture at this time or not, but it was pretty much to have an abortion or put Cher in an orphanage. And so Cher spent some time in an orphanage. I don't know exactly how old she was, but that's crazy to think, you know, but her mother always fought to get her back. So eventually she did go back to her mom, which is also amazing that it didn't just end up that way, you know? So I'm gonna go into this kind of like taupey shade right here. So Cher actually had undiagnosed dyslexia. But she didn't really, you know, of course it was undiagnosed, so she didn't really know it. So she got really frustrated in school. And so she dropped out when she was 16 to pursue acting because her mom, being an actress, when Cher was really young, paid for acting classes. So apparently around this time, from what I understand, she dated Warren Beatty, which I did not know. So then in 1962, of course, she meets Sonny Bono, who was 11 years older than her. This is going on really nice. I'm really liking it so far. It's not the darkest shade, but it's really pretty. So with a flat brush and some setting spray, I'm gonna go into this shade right here. So at this time, Sunny was actually working for Phil Spector at Gold Star Studios, and he persuaded Phil to use Cher as like a session singer, which means she would sing, background vocals on records and stuff like that. So she did. He hired her, and she actually sang backup for lots of hits around that time. A couple being You've Lost That Loving Feeling and Be My Baby. So that's really cool to think she was just, she was a backup singer. And, there's actually a lot of singers that have gotten their start that way. So Sunny and Cher got married on October 27th, 1964. Now, when they met, Sunny was actually still married, but he was separated. And it was actually a platonic relationship. Apparently, Sunny was actually attracted to Cher's friend, and not particularly Cher, but she needed a place to live. So she kind of worked out this deal with Sunny. It was just completely platonic that she would clean his house in exchange for living there. Now for Cher, she was immediately drawn to Sunny. And her mother later said that she always thought that Cher's attraction to Sunny was because apparently he looked so much like her dad that she kind of found this like paternal attraction to him. In a way, she wanted to be protected, and that's just kind of what drew her immediately, but of course it was not that way for Sunny as much. So as always, I'm gonna move on to eyelashes next, the face, and then we'll finish up the eyes, but so far I'm liking this. The concealer's a little bit yellowish, so I think before I do that, I might actually go in with that first shade we used on kind of like a small flat brush. Just go into that shade right there. Just see what if I can't cover it up a little bit. So in the summer of 1965, they actually had their first album. It was called Look at Us. And that was the album that had the first #1 hit, which was, of course, I Got You, Babe. I'm sure Sunny's connections with Phil and all that stuff, he was already kind of in the business, so I don't think it really took much up to that point. So with the success of I Got You, Babe, they re-released a previous song, and that was Baby Don't Go, and so it was successful now because of I Got You, Babe, of course. Okay, that helped a lot. So now we're gonna move on to the eyelashes and face. These were in a recent Dollar Tree haul. These are the LA Colors Dramatilash False Lashes in Dashing. So we're gonna give these a try today. So I'm just gonna use this little eyelash glue here that came with a set of lashes. Nothing fancy. And Baby Don't Go got up to #8 on the charts. Still very good. So between 1965 and 1972, they had 6 top 10 hits together. This glue's a little chunky. I don't know what that's gonna mean, but we're gonna go with it. So of course in the late 60s, they were like the icons of like flower power and all that kind of thing. And their personalities and their look was so contrasting to each other that it really drew people in. They were just, they were kind of like an odd couple, and it drew people to them. And that was actually even more loved than their music. Even though they had some of these hits, their personalities and their relationship was really like the biggest thing that people were drawn to. And even through their success together, Sunny always wanted Cher to have her own solo success. We're gonna kind of try a really dramatic lip. So even though this is kind of a glamorous eye look, it's still very simple. Now, even though Sunny wanted Cher to have solo success, it was hard for her because people really liked them together. And kind of through this time, she did do some movies, but they didn't really succeed. And then even as a duo, by the time the 60s were done, their image wasn't as relevant because the flower power thing was kind of waning. These lashes are really, really pretty. That is really pretty. But even though they weren't as popular, they still continued to do their thing. Now, of course, their relationship on stage, Sunny was very comfortable. He kind of played the butt of the joke, They had this, banter that people liked. Sunny, he would end up being the butt of the joke, but he was really, of course, the driving force to their success and really was very brilliant. So in 1971, they got their comedy hour, the Sunny and Cher comedy hour, which of course was hugely successful. These are really pretty. I don't know that this glue is really very good, but the lashes are gorgeous. So of course in the Variety Hour show, it was just iconic. They did kind of ridiculous comedy sketches. Cher had all the Bob Mackie costumes. They had their banter. And during this time, Cher was able to have a solo career alongside this show. And this is when she came out with Half Breed, Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, and Dark Lady. And of course, those were all #1 hits. Okay, so for foundation, this was also in a recent haul. I get the New Color BB Beauty Benefit Cream in light. Now, to me, it looks an awful lot like Sassy Chic. I don't know if it is or not, but we will see. Which, you know, I love the Sassy Chic. They even had a foundation. I don't know why I picked up the beauty cream because I do like the foundation better, but wanted to give it a try. I've only ever worn light. I probably could have gotten medium, but I can always darken it up. So I do always favor on the lighter side if I can. So on the show, you know, their relationship seemed very strong, but it was really starting to fall apart. Cher desperately wanted more freedom from Sonny. He just kind of had a Svengali-like control over her career and personal life, and she'd never really been on her own. You know, she was kind of wanting away from that, which is understandable, you know, at the age she was at that point. This is probably a little light. I probably could have gone with the darker shade, but like I said, we'll darken it up. You know, I don't really know if I kind of feel like the Sassy Chic did not go on like this. I don't know, it's hard to say. I'll have to do like a side-by-side comparison now that they have this, and I'll have to actually restock the Sassy Plus Chic BB cream and do a comparison and see. It is going on really nice though. I look a little pasty, but like I said, we'll settle it down. So in 1974, they announced their split. And at this point now, it was hard for them to find solo success now that they weren't a couple. Even Cher, who did have some solo success, once they weren't a couple, people did not seem interested. Okay, we're gonna go in with that concealer now. Like I said, I don't really use the sponge applicator, so I'm just gonna kind of put some on and use my concealer brush to kind of spread it around. So the divorce was final in June of 1975, and 3 days later, Cher married Greg Allman from the Allman Brothers. So they had obviously gotten together. So they probably got together, you know, very soon after Sonny and Cher announced their split. So they got married, and their marriage quickly crumbled. They divorced by 1977, and allegedly it was because of Greg's really, really bad drug habit. I like this concealer. I kind of like that it has a little bit of a yellowish undertone, and it covers really very nice. Overall, I'm very, very impressed with the two products. But they did have a son. Of course, Cher had a daughter with Sonny, who at the time was Chastity Bono. And of course, in more recent times as an adult, became Chaz Bono. Then she had a son with Greg Allman. His name was Elijah. So I don't have any like really new products for bronzer and highlighter. So I'm just gonna go in with my trusted Beauty Benefits Hollywood bronzer. And we're just gonna do that. So in 1976, Sonny and Cher kind of revived their show, but the audience didn't quite embrace this divorced couple being nice to each other. It just, I guess without them being married or being a couple, like the audiences did not care. The show was on for a little while. It was able to kind of limp along for a little while, and I guess it was and apparently it was really just because of people's curiosity, but once the curiosity wore off for people, the show was canceled. So it just didn't last very long. And, and it's not just Sonny and Cher's fault. It wasn't just their relationship. This whole musical variety show was kind of on its way out anyway. It was a big show model during that time. And it was just things were changing as they always do. So in 1979, Cher had like mild success with a disco hit called Take Me Home. But other than that, she didn't have much else going on during this time. So for blush, this is a recent find. I did use it in a recent video, I believe, but it's the LA Colors. This is so pretty. LA Colors blush in Spice. So at this point, she was 36. We were the same age at this point, and she decided to focus on acting. So she made her Broadway debut in a musical called Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean. And it's centered around a group of girlfriends from an old Jimmy Dean fan club, which I've never seen it, but it sounds really cute. This blush is so pretty. And of course, this bronzer never lets me down. And another trusted product right here is this LA Colors highlighter. This is in Jazzy. It's so pretty. So that musical was very, very, very well received. She got great reviews. So it was a very big success for her and kind of got this new phase of her career kind of rolling, So her second film actually got her a Best Supporting Actress nomination and a Golden Globe win, and it was the movie Silkwood. And this was in 1983. So her acting was really taken off, which is really great. And Silkwood had a couple other really big names, Kurt Russell and Meryl Streep. So in 1985, she starred in The Mask. And of course, it got great reviews, huge movie, and she won at the Cannes Film Festival. And an interesting fact about the actor that played in that movie, for the Back to the Future series, they wanted, of course, Michael J. Fox, but he was kind of tied up in another contract, so they hired Eric Stoltz, and they actually recorded some of the movie with him, and then Michael J. Fox was able to do Back to the Future. So he was actually cast in Back to the Future, but they initially got their first choice. So I thought that was a little interesting. I heard that on a documentary. So by this time, Cher was fully embraced and fully integrated into the Hollywood community. So in 1987, for the movie Starstruck, she won a Best Actress Academy Award. And my friend keeps telling me I really, really need to see that movie. I do. There's so much I haven't seen. It's embarrassing, but I do really need to see that movie for sure. So because of all her success in acting, it revived her musical career. So she came out with the hits If I Could Turn Back Time and the duet with Peter Cetera, After All, which all were a top 10 hit. And both of those songs placed her back onto the charts. So we're gonna do some finishing powder. Again, I do not have a new product for this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use this e.l.f. powder. It's in light beige, and I'm just gonna kind of lightly dust this. I kind of liking a dewy kind of a look. So I'm just gonna kind of put that on my T-zone just a tad. So I'm gonna use this eyeliner. I found it some time ago, and I used it in a Get Ready With Me recently. It's the Wet n Wild Color Icon Kohl eyeliner. It's in Simma Brown now, and I'm just gonna try to line my waterline. Again, this is a decent eyeliner, and the waterline is the ultimate test, I feel. It doesn't do too bad of a job. So during the 90s, Cher was on several tours and TV specials and even more films. So by this time, Sonny, who had actually become a very popular Republican congressman, I don't know if a lot of us knew that. I know I didn't, but he was tragically killed in just a freak skiing accident, which, we all remember. I remember being a kid and that happening. And of course, she did his eulogy, and we all have seen footage of that, and just so terribly sad. She did love him even through their troubles and stuff like that. You could tell she still had love for him, and I'm sure he did with her as well. And in that same year, they got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So I'm gonna finish up the eyes. I'm gonna do something underneath. I think I'm gonna go into that same shade right there to go underneath. So kind of after all of this, Cher had the biggest album and single of her entire career with Believe. And kind of after all that, she did some touring, and she's kind of one of those artists that is kind of notoriously known for doing like farewell tours kind of all the time. I think Garth Brooks is another one. They're just like always on a farewell tour. But in 2008, she did a Las Vegas residency at Caesar's Palace, which I'm sure was amazing. Like, I really want to see like a Las Vegas residency show, and I'm sure it was just over the top. So then in 2010, she starred in the movie Burlesque with Christina Aguilera, and I want to say Julianne Hough was in that movie as well. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, what a fun movie, and just such a cool twist to her career. And then in 2018, which of course is more recent, she did the movie Mamma Mia. I want to do something for my inner corner, and I don't know if I'm going to use this palette or if I'm going to use the highlighter. I think I'm going to, just so we can say we did, I'm going to use that shade we used for the inner part of the eye to do my inner corner highlight. I'm going to just use a little thin brush and spray. So Cher, keeps busy with lots of like humanitarian work. She's a national chairman and honorary spokesperson for the Children's, I'm gonna mess this word up, Craniofacial Association, which of course was inspired by her being in the movie The Mask. Because I'm pretty sure that movie was based on a true story, and of course that's a real condition. So now for lips, I'm gonna give this a try. This was in a recent, I think, haul video or a Get Ready With Me, and I kind of swatched it and was like, I ain't ever gonna wear this. It's this Broadway Colors matte lip lacquer. This is in the shade Apple Picking, and it's really bright, so let's give it a try. I might actually, as weird as this sounds, to kind of tone it down, I'm going to line my lips with this brown eyeliner just a little bit. This is like the only hope I have for maybe making this work. So I didn't know this about Cher, but when she was a teenager, she got arrested for stealing a car. Apparently she was watching a friend's car while he was running an errand, and he was taking too long in her mind, and she decided to take it to a drive-in theater. So, I mean, I guess she was young, you know, she was a teenager. The things teenagers do. It feels very waxy on the lips. This one, I like the lip glosses, and I think this is the first lip color I've tried to use. I mean, thank goodness I lined it out a little bit, or else it would just look like bright fluorescent orange. I did not think I was gonna be able to make that work, but I think I may have. I might even kind of like it. I don't know. I think with the brown, like, pencil, I think I low-key like it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm very, very surprised. And so kind of another interesting fact about Cher, and I had no idea, she apparently turned down the role in Thelma and Louise. And that part went to Gina Davis. I know, crazy, right? I love facts like that. I love, like, all that useless information. And it makes you wonder what would have happened, what would it have been like? You know, and that happens a lot. A lot of times in movies, the actor or actress that becomes just so famous for that role and the movie being so iconic, a lot of times the actor or actress was second choice. Happens all the time, like way more often than you think. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of like an under the brow bone highlight. I think I'm gonna use the highlighter for this. So of course, you know, Cher just has had a immensely successful career, and she's actually, and longevity, I mean, it's just amazing. And she is apparently the only female artist in history to have had #1 singles in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, which is such a cool, you know, accomplishment, you know? Oh yeah, that just topped off the look. So yeah, I really love this little palette. I'm gonna be duping some eyeshadow palettes soon. I've got 2 other color stories of these from a recent haul, so super excited, very happy with the look. Really glad I could make this not only work, but thrive. So I hope you enjoyed another Makeup and Celebrity Sunday. If you did, I will link my entire Makeup and Celebrity playlist down below so you can check out the other videos I've done like this. I do aim to do one of these every other Sunday, so of course make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell. I will also have my entire Dollar Tree makeup and haul playlist linked down below as well. You can watch any Dollar Tree oriented video, all my Dollar Tree hauls, all my Dollar Tree duping videos, all that good stuff. Again, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.